believe wholeheartedly that Jay-Z your father.
I really do.
You've been ducking this boy's DNA for all this like take this test.
Like, I didn't make the allegations. I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else.
Chances are, just out of nowhere, random universal selection, this boy who's not related to you has your nose, has your mouth, has your brow line, has your hairline.
Jay-Z recently received a legal bombshell that might tear everything apart, which is why 50 Cent is currently doing well. Rymir Carter's paternity case is still outstanding, according to a recent court decision. No more hiding, no more delays.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
Oh my God, I think I know where we're going with
So
this.
now look, what I'm saying to you is, look, when you start looking at, that's not mine, that's theirs, they're hard, right? But when you look at, M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole,
What do you know, too? Jay-Z must respond by July 18th at the latest, or it might spiral even more quickly. But this is the point at which it becomes obviously dramatic. Rumor has said that 50 Cent is paying Rymer's legal bills out of pocket. Yes, exactly. Allegedly, he is paying for the entire litigation. Even worse, he is making Rye the focal point of his next documentary, which is already anticipated to reveal Diddy and Jay-Z's wrongdoing. This goes beyond simply being lawful. This refers to reputations, power, and legacy.
And had intercourse with him. How old was she?
I would say I think she was about 16, 17, or 16, just turning 16 or 17. I know it was one of them.
And Jay-Z was what age?
I wouldn't happen to know. I think he was in his 20s?
I read 22.
Oh, yeah.
I think I read 22. But he was in.
Yes, I wouldn't happen to
It has grown into a true confrontation. Let's now discuss the actual issues. This dispute is seldom new. For years, Rymer has maintained that he is Jay-Z's biological son. Additionally, according to his mother, she started dating Jay in 1992 when she was 16. It transcends tabloid gossip as a result.
But, I still gotta live for myself at the end of the day. I still gotta work and bring in income for me. I can't sit around. I gotta get up off my feet and do something. I can't wait on the world. Like, I can't say, I can't wait on anybody to want to respond when they want to. It is important that I know who my biological father is, just because, my mom's health, I don't know if it's coming from our family or it's coming from the other side, and that would be something I really would want to find out, because, in the future, you don't know what could happen. And a lot of people are so quick to judge because they see somebody coming out and try to find out if the person that, trying to find out things, they so negative.
The game is over if even a small portion of this is accurate. This is by far the most absurd twist. According to sources, Beyoncé has been putting in a lot of effort behind the scenes to put an end to this myth. 50 Cent prodded the beehive, and a judge finally declared, "Let's run it." All of a sudden, this matter went from being whispered about to becoming a major controversy. There's a lot of talk on the streets about how this whole issue might ruin Jay-Z's entire universe. His reputation was at stake, his marriage was in jeopardy, and his billion-dollar company was in jeopardy. However, let's go back in time. Really? Who is Rye Carter? And why has this case received so little attention up to this point, despite dragging on for more than 10 years? His true name is Rye Satwaite, not Carter, as some people thought. He's not only looking for influence either. Since he was 19, this man has been searching for the truth. He has spent more than half his life attempting to prove one point: that his biological father is Jay-Z. Wanda, Rymer's mother, says she first met Jay-Z when she was still a minor in the early 1990s. Things took place. Crickets abandoned her when she attempted to contact him after becoming pregnant. No answers, no encouragement, no quiet. Rymer has grown up and is done being nice. He's coming with heat because he wants the truth. But this is when things become even more messed up. According to Lily Key, Rymer's godmother, Jay-Z's crew first made an effort to be considerate. They even considered including Rymer on Rock Nation because of his musical abilities. Then, however, everything was different. Abruptly, the tone shifted. When new lawyers took over, the atmosphere cooled. Undoubtedly, something happened behind the scenes. What made Jay-Z's team abruptly decide to go in a different direction then? Let's tell the truth. Panic most likely set in when they realized how far this may go legally. There is more than a small scandal at hand. Transcends age based on Rise story. It has to do with bringing a minor across state lines. In the past, Jay-Z was accused of transporting a 16-year-old from Philadelphia to Brooklyn. Not only is that untidy, but it might even be illegal. It makes sense that his attorneys have been pursuing this lawsuit for more than a decade. They have been making every effort to prevent, delay, and bury it, because his entire kingdom could collapse if this doesn't work out. Depending on how far this goes, we might be talking about criminal investigations, lawsuits, and public outcry. Let's examine it once more. Our 32-year-old man has been searching for answers since he was a teenager. Before she passed away, his mother, who sadly passed away, prepared a signed statement outlining all of the alleged events. The court has finally had enough of the legal wrangling and is exploring this topic. This time, it won't go away. Keep in mind that 50 Cent is also observing all of this from the front row. Rymir is not only sending him money, but he is also preparing the Diddy and Jay-Z expos.
When a friend of mine who knew her, somebody in her camp, and she said something supposedly, this is all hearsay, about regarding saying Rymir needs to go away little boy, something to that effect. There was something out there. But people were saying that she's a big part of the problem for him, and some of the things that she was doing, a woman would not.
This is no longer just a legal matter. Jay's timing couldn't be worse during this shift in hip-hop supremacy. People are reconsidering their preconceptions of the greatest names in the business, especially Diddy, who is already facing criticism. Rumor has suggested that Jay-Z may have a direct connection to some of the evidence Diddy was accused of utilizing. The game is changing. The voices of individuals who have been silenced for years are finally being heard. Jay-Z believed that this would never occur again, but 2025 threw caution to the wind. And there's nothing buried yet. Now let's go back to the beginning. 1992. Jay-Z was still working hard and was just starting to establish himself as a well-known rapper. Rymir's mother, Wanda, claims that's when she first got to know him. She claims that after picking her up in Philadelphia, Jay drove her directly to his aunt's home in Brooklyn. It alone raises the question, why would you want to send a teenage girl across the country? It's not just questionable, it's essentially against the law. She claims that he returned for a final visit 2 weeks later and then disappeared. No communication, no calls, nothing. He abandoned her entirely. This is where the problem becomes significantly worse. Dr. Lily Coley, Wanda's close friend, says the story is far more nuanced than most people realize. The said incident took place at a location when Jay-Z was still referred to by his street name, Rock. Not just any quiet block though, it was a notorious hotbed for drug trafficking. Coley said that Jay was also hard at work outside. Wanda had no way to get in touch with him when she discovered she was expecting. As a result, she did what many young girls who are afraid do. She put her ex-boyfriend Robert Graves on the birth certificate, but it was a temporary fake. Now let's move on to 2011. The findings of Robert's DNA test made it obvious. The father wasn't him. His name was formally removed by the courts. Rye felt it was time to stop speculating and start fighting after Wanda only acknowledged having ties to Robert and Jay. He formally made it official in 2010 by bringing a paternity case. However, things became difficult very soon. The documentation was disorganized. Jay-Z's legal team was not trying to assist while the case was still remanded. This was hardly a straightforward family argument. It was the start of a protracted argument with one of the most well-known musicians. Rye claims that since the beginning, Jay-Z's legal team has acted dishonestly and has even bribed judges and attorneys to hide the facts. The way this matter has been handled, to be honest, makes you wonder if he is telling the truth. It feels like a horrible repetition because this litigation has been dismissed, refiled, moved from court to court, and postponed multiple times. The goalposts shift each time Rymir approaches a response. At one point, Jay-Z's attorneys even claimed that since he didn't own any real estate in New Jersey, He couldn't be made to undergo a DNA test there. That was their defense, really. What do you know, though? The receipts had been brought by Ramier. His case was totally disproved when he found records proving that Jay-Z did, in fact, own real estate in New Jersey at the time. Suspicions start to surface at this moment. When Rye disclosed that Jay-Z did own property in New Jersey, you would think the court would finally move forward with the DNA test, wouldn't you? False. The lawsuit was inexplicably rerouted and rejected once again rather than proceeding, while the legal teams continued to play defense, circling like a hot potato. In addition, Rye is not an online troll. He has been fighting this battle for nearly 10 years, dropping evidence, spending his own money, and not giving up. In an effort to obtain justice, he even carried the case all the way to the Supreme Court, but it was dismissed again. He encounters more brick obstacles as he ascends higher. Why is that? According to those with knowledge of the matter, Jay-Z's staff has made every effort to reroute, postpone, and deny. It is providing power movements by casually ignoring deadlines and challenging court jurisdictions. It's acting as a cover. Even legal experts are now beginning to ask, if this man truly has nothing to hide, why hasn't he just taken the DNA test and cleared his name? Rye makes it rather obvious. Show me that he is not my father. However, Jay-Z, please keep quiet. No comments, no openness, no clear denial. Meanwhile, there are rising rumors that this is more than a test. It concerns what the outcomes would reveal. For Jay-Z's whole marriage, history, brand, and image, not simply Rymere. Everyone's brows are furrowed by this point. Because DNA isn't the only thing at work here. According to Ryer's camp, Jay-Z's extreme avoidance of the test is due to factors other than paternity. If the test confirms Rymeyer's claims, it might lead to lawsuits, child support demands, and the kind of public scrutiny Jay has been evading for decades. You see, this is no longer merely a he says, she says situation. It has to do with legal accountability. While money is important, so is image. Jay-Z might file a lawsuit if it is discovered that Rymere is his biological son, retrospectively for lost opportunities, financial help, and other reasons. And this is a matter of millions. It might also damage Jay-Z's carefully preserved image as a loving father and husband. Additionally, Rhyme's legal team has requested papers and sealed documents that were not thoroughly examined the first time. There may be documents that show how much effort Jay-Z's team put into keeping this a secret. In addition, 50 Cent fueled the flames and spread the word about the entire situation. The pressure is more than it has ever been. This is no longer merely a private matter. Fans closely monitor Jay's every move and are prepared to step in if he makes even the smallest error. It's a remarkable sight. The internet is now tracking every move, court appearance, and interview related to this case. Even though Jay-Z's silence is beginning to seem like a response in and of itself, Rye isn't giving up. Because, let's be honest, if someone has been posing as your child for more than a decade, wouldn't you fire them after just one test? Only one? Jay hasn't though, and the situation is only getting worse because of the quiet. Beyoncé's name is still linked to the controversy though. According to multiple insiders, she has been making every effort to prevent this issue from damaging her reputation. According to rumors, she has been putting pressure on Jay to deal with it in secret before it takes over her life. And is she really at fault? Beauty, control, and perfection are the cornerstones of her entire business. Now there's chaos. There's more though. Fans have taken notice of the remarkable synchronicity. At the same time, several well-known hip-hop musicians are being specifically targeted by the legislation. Diddy's business is disrupted. Investigations are underway into others. At the moment, Jay's is purportedly concealing a paternity scandal that dates back decades. The size of this fraternity is beginning to be questioned by the broader public. Who is receiving protection, and at what cost? It's no longer only about Rymere. Erasing, manipulation, a silent mechanism, and a pattern are all present. And the elimination of Rymere is complete. He's making the most famous hip-hop artist confront the issue he has been avoiding for years. It's clear that 50 Cent isn't just making fun of Jay-Z anymore. He is playing a part in what may end up being the largest paternity controversy in hip-hop history. Now that a judge has finally put pressure on this case, Time is running out. Carter will not surrender. No retreat. No hush deals. No PR spin. And Jay-Z has nothing more to hide as the July 18th deadline approaches. Answers are needed for the world. Will he eventually submit to the DNA test, or will he use yet another legal trick to avoid answering the questions? There's no denying that 50 Cent is still going strong. He will continue to ride this wave, keeping everyone informed at every stage. It is more than merely revealing secrets in films or conversations. The goal is to undermine the foundation of Jay-Z's meticulously constructed persona. The best thing was that we had only barely begun. The question now is whether Have will continue to play the game that has been a hit for decades or finally face the consequences. In any case, 50 is beaming like he just won the lotto while we and the supporters watch. What do you think Jay-Z is going to do next? Please share your ideas in the comments area below. Should he continue to dodge the test or take it? If you want more in-depth discussions, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.